Hello everyone and welcome back to a new Bedwars video. And in this video I'm going to be talking about how to win Bedwars. As you guys would know, I've made a lot of Bedwars guides in the past. However, at the end of the day, it is pretty easy to win when you always get obsidian or stack up. And some people just don't want to play extremely fast to grind fast wins. The real challenge in Bedwars is winning consistently while not playing extremely defensively. And this is why in this video I will be making a general Bedwars guide on how to win Bedwars. I'm sorry you guys have been waiting for such a long time for a new video. Obviously I have been very busy and have not been able to make a video for over a month. However, hopefully this video makes up for it, and I am working on a big project, on a big video very soon, which I might upload after this one or the video after this video, I guess. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments whether you liked it or enjoyed it, and I'll be sure to continue making videos that you guys want. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy. Alright, so the first step is of course the map, and I usually recommend Speedway. It's the most balanced map. However, Speedway is not in the map selector right now, so I'm just going to play Airshow, which is another very good alternative. It's more on the defensive side, but, well, if Speedway is not there, I would recommend Airshow. If you want a more aggressive map, I would recommend something like Lighthouse, Solus, or Apollo. Now, for the purpose of this guide, we have got a lot of snipers in this game, such as Lost Hacks and It's Mia 325. One of them is a leaderboard player. I'm not sure which one it is, but one of them's a leaderboard player and one of them has more wins than me in solos. So we're going to try and beat them, and I'm going to use my amazing strategies to show that I am the best Bedwars player. Anyways, we're in game, and generally when there's a lot of people that are good, you want to try and get your defense out fast. As soon as you get 4 iron, place your defense and make your temporary initial pre-bridge, whatever you want to call it. And then you can go back in here, get your 12. I don't normally put a wood defense. You can. Generally, wood's more, I guess, consistent and reliable, but wool is also fine if you want a bit more of an aggressive, faster paced game. And it's good if you want to get iron armor faster as well. And the first step is not to fall off while bridging, because when you fall off while bridging, this is actually quite important, since when you're versing your first rush, it's very important that you are very consistent with your bridging. This is where bridging practice is very important, because if you fail your bridging, especially if you have a good neighbor, luckily I have a not so good neighbor, but if you have a good neighbor, it's very important to get to their base without failing, because then they can, I guess, take you down. And as we can see, our sweats and leaderboard players have already taken out their first rush, but we need to try a little bit harder. And I just got Opal Prestige. Yay. Okay. Well, I wish it didn't happen in this video. I probably would have done it somewhere else, but well, it's Opal Prestige. It's probably the worst color, so I'm gonna save the good stuff for 900. Anyway, the thing is, if there are sweats in your game, you definitely want to get diamonds, and you want to try and get emeralds as fast as possible. Now, as you can see, yellow is trying to be very aggressive and hasn't gotten an armor, which means we can probably take them out. Now, obviously, this brings up a pretty good question. You need to be good at PvP to fight these players. If you're not good at PvP, which is quite a few people, then fighting these good players aren't what you want to do. If they're going for your bed, instead of defending your bed furiously, which is honestly not the right way to do this, because obviously you're going to eventually lose since you're worse at PvP. So what you would like to ideally do is go to middle and get emeralds and diamonds and try and avoid them as fast as possible. In my clutching guide, I talked about basically avoiding. I made like some kind of 3-word thing. But avoiding is very important when you're fighting good players, because if they're better than you, you do not want to fight them. You want to get stacked, and you want to basically kill them in the cheapest way possible, such as KV sticks, such as invis, stuff like that. Now, we're pretty lucky. Grey is just finished killing white, and we have gotten yellow's bed. So basically, this game is looking pretty good. And we have our invis potion, our KB stick, and If everything goes fine, we should be able to win. Okay, I'm getting my jump. Jump is also pretty useful. Make sure I'm gonna just say this again. When you're versing good players, it's very important that you play sort of defensively, but also, I guess, fast at the same time. It's a very hard skill to master. But, okay, this is actually pretty good because now it's just a 1v1 between me and, I think, the leaderboard player. I'm not too sure. One of these was the leaderboard player, and one of this is someone with more solo wins than me. So this guy either has 8,300 solo wins or 5,900 solo wins. Both of which are very good, but as you can see with these strategies, I've managed to okay, this was the guy with 7,000 or something solo wins. As you can see with these strategies, I have managed to beat two very good players and win. Alright, in this game, I'm just gonna do another demonstration of sweats, but in a faster paced map like Lighthouse, since you do have to play slightly differently when you're on a faster map. That's, I guess, fundamentally different because it's not sectioned into quadrants. It's a different map basically. Airshow is much more passive. You can play slower, while Lighthouse is a much quicker map. You can get targeted through middle, so you need to be very careful with what you do. So just to recap, on Airshow or Speedway, I suppose, when you have a good player in your game, try and get your first rush out as fast as possible. And my guide for getting your first rush out is firstly, not failing your bridge. Secondly, try and get above them and try and lure them out onto the front of the base so you can knock them off the island. If you can do this, you can jump down on them and knock them off, and even if you're fairly bad at PvP, you should be able to successfully knock them off and then break their bed. This is a strategy that works very well for first rush, or if you really are really bad, instead of getting 16 iron, you can wait 20 iron, and the main purpose of this is you can get 5 gold and you can buy a KB stick right off your first rush and then use that to, I guess, win, because no one expects you to get a KB stick on your first rush, so it's very useful. Then you will want to get diamonds and emeralds as fast as possible, and hopefully win, and try and target one by one and try and separate the two sweats if there's two, and if there's just one, if you're really bad, try and avoid the good player and stack yourself up, and even be willing to sacrifice your bed if you need to. Anyway, on Lighthouse, as you can see, we rush with 8 iron. This is one of those maps where you need to have good PvP skill to take out your first rush. If you do not, I wouldn't recommend playing this map. Obviously, I didn't have an opponent, but Sarlocke over here took a while to get rid of his first rush, so we could easily rush through middle, which is a very good strategy on Lighthouse. You can cross map through middle, and with that I was able to take out his bed, and hopefully we are able. He has a TNT jumping thing, but okay, he doesn't. I thought he did. And he got our bed, which was a shame. I probably should have been a bit smarter and KB sticked him off. But we have taken out one of the sweats, and in most games there's really only going to be one. There's not going to be two near leaderboard players that you're going to have to worry about. In the case that you've taken out the good player and you have, just your bed gone and you've no one else really that good in the game left, be careful. Get emeralds and get diamonds. Diamonds not as necessary in Lighthouse since it's harder to get and more risky, but get emeralds definitely, and in that case you should be able to win pretty easily. So we still have one good player in the game, and this is the rare case that you still have a tough game after you've lost your bed and after you've taken out one of the good players. This is where I guess I can link you to my clutching strategy, and I made a clutching guide, and I went to detail there. And blue is the other sweat / leaderboard player probably. So I'm gonna enact my first rule of clutching, which is to avoid, and we're gonna unfortunately need to run on a bridge, which is not the best tactic, but I'm pretty good at dodging fireballs and like not dying to them, so we're gonna do that. I need to just be very careful here since I'm going to just try and be as fast as possible in running away, and he stops running. Eventually you can run around in a circle in this map. If you're at a dead end, try as quickly as possible to buy like a pearl. If you can either fight or you can buy a pearl. A pearl is generally the safer option because he might fireball, and you might be able to get away easier. However, if you really think you're doing alright and you can fight, then I recommend buying armor or sword or something like that. Pearl's always the safer option, obviously, and make sure you know how to pearls. That's something actually even I struggle with. Obviously, we have a pearl, but that's not enough to do too much, so a few strategies here. Get emeralds, use the pearl to their base, break their bed, and then buy more stuff with the emeralds, such as another pearl and more gear, which I think I'm gonna do here. Actually, I'm pretty sure. Okay, we're gonna just go this way. I would like to lure him. I don't know if he knows I'll have a pearl. He might suspect it, but okay, he's coming, and we're gonna pearl to his base. And we're gonna need to fireball him since that didn't work, which is a shame. Here's the mining fatigue trap. Less common in Lighthouse actually, since, well, what was I gonna say? He might have invis. I'm not too sure about this. Okay, he's typing, which means he doesn't have invis. Game sense, exactly. We're gonna get another pearl, more of invis and stuff. And just get the pearl out in your inventory. And I'm a bit worried right now, so I'm gonna... You can just use that invis. Remember, people, try and keep track of your enemies. This is something I talked about in my Game Sense guide, the ultimate guide to Game Sense, because obviously they have a plan themselves, such as they might be buying invis, they might be doing stuff like that, so always be careful and keep your eye out for stuff like that. I don't use hotkeys, so I'm gonna keep my pearl out in the first slot. And try and, obviously my game sense are off right now, which is not a good strategy. Let me turn them on.
Powering on.
Okay.
Mic off.
We don't have invis anymore, which means we are we are very vulnerable right now because he might have invis. And we do not have invis. But I don't know if he knows we're here. It's KB sticking. Okay, here's a pearl. Okay, we're gonna run away. Be careful when you're running away. People do stuff like jumping off the edge while running away. Okay, he's coming. He's following us. We have a fireball, luckily, so I'm gonna try and use that. And that miss. We always have the lucky pearl in case we... Okay, we got him. And he doesn't have another pearl. Good fight. And now we have the end scenario, which I talked about at the start, where the last guy probably isn't too good, and we really just need to survive, I guess, and beat him. In this case, always have a pearl. Maybe not as necessary, but with sweats, it's very important to have a pearl as a second option, or as a surprise attack. That is another different tactic. It's very different to what we're talking about. A lot of advanced tactics good players use they'll in fact use the pearl as an offensive strategy to pearl in and attack and surprise the opponent. This is much more advanced, obviously, and something that even I'm not amazing at, so I will not talk about it here. Once I'm good at it, or I guess I'll learn to get better at it, I will try and make something talk about it. Alright, so in this case we need a plan for the future. We're gonna want invis, since that's a great tool to surprise. Actually, never mind. If we know where he is, we don't need to worry about invis too much, because at the end of the day, we want a tracker and we want invis. Invis is a surprise attack and to get a first few hits on him, and a tracker to find out where he is. But if we know where he is, that means we don't need a tracker, and that means we can use our 2 emeralds we have here for invis. So I'm gonna just break his bed, and then we can go back to middle. Alright, let's get ourselves some more golden apples. Not really that necessary, but something you can buy. And some invis. Okay. Just be careful for footprints and stuff like that. It's a great indicator of when someone has in. I drank the wrong potion. I thought I was drinking a speed or jump. Yeah, so we wasted the invis here, and this actually brings up to another point. What happens if there's someone in the game, possibly even someone good, and you do not have any emeralds and no potions or stuff like that? In this case, it's very important that you first track down where your opponent is. If you can't see them, there's a chance they have invis. In this case, you want to keep running, preferably not on a bridge, but keeping running is very important. And if you can, I guess, find out that they're not at middle, always get a tracker as fast as possible. And if they have a bed, this is very hard for you, and you want to just, it's very important that you get that first invis potion, and I guess use probably one of my favorite strategies for, I guess, if you're in a really bad situation like this. It's the hardest part and the most important part is getting that first invis potion, because once you get this, you can do something very interesting, which I'm going to talk about after this since I'm trying to concentrate. Okay, he is in a very bad position. He's bowing me. Can I, like, scare him? Okay, that was pretty easy. The reason I went on the bridge is because if he hit me off, I would just go back into the, I guess, the island, and I had the pearl with me, so I was not too worried. Anyways, I'm going to talk about that invis strategy. So obviously, if your opponent has a bed and is just very stacked, and you have nothing, get an invis potion and invis to middle, and in this way, if they're at middle, you can scare them away. And if they're not at middle, you can just get emeralds anyway. Because here's the thing, when your opponent has a bed, and you go invisible, try and actually, it's very important that they see that you're invisible. When you drink your invis potion, drink it in front of them. And this seems very weird, but here's the thing with people. When you have a bed, and you see someone drink an invis potion, you're automatically going to think they're going for your bed. So the opponent will run back to their base, most likely. And which leaves you the opportunity to get emeralds, and hopefully 4 to 8 emeralds, and then you can get more invis potions, repeat this cycle, and get more gear until you're stacked, and then you're able to beat them. Alright, for this game we're going to be playing on Apollo, because I think this is a really underrated map, and it's very useful for winning. It's very similar to Airshow, but it also has a very fast generator. So I think this map could be very useful playing on, and a lot of the good players actually do play on this map, and a lot of people don't know about this. You always hear people talking about maps like Lighthouse and Speedway, but not Apollo, which I feel is a real shame because this map is very good. And because there's no one really too good in this game, I'm going to talk about some of my other tips, and probably one of my most useful tips that is very obvious, but people still do not do this. In a Bedwars fight, the easiest and most simple way to win is to get on top of the opponent. And as you can see, this guy is not too capable. I'm just going to try and get more over him, and then I can just jump to the back of him. His aim is going to fail, and he's much lower, which means I can kill him. A lot of people after this will just stay on the ground and start fighting, but this is where a lot of people lose, so I'm just going to get back up. And he's a bit smart this time, and we're going to try and lure him. I can probably fight him anyway. He's only a level 57 Hypixel, but I want to demonstrate this strategy. Can you come out? Okay, we can do this. He's actually okay. I've let him get iron armor. Let's try and get. Okay, we got him like this, and I wanted to get 2 hits on him, but 1's enough, and because of that, I managed to get that hit on him and kill him. If it was a flat fight, he could have gotten a combo on me, he could have gotten the first hit on me, especially with my ping, which is why this strategy is extremely useful to people with high ping. Getting on top of the other player and jumping on them. I'm going to demonstrate that actually in basically all of my fights this game to show you how useful it really is. We're going to get pink space since he's the last person with the bed. But it's such an obvious strategy because when you're on top of the other player, you can jump on them. You have the element of surprise, the offensive advantage, which basically gives you. I talked about this in my game sense guide. It gives you more possibilities and it gives the opponent many fewer possibilities. So for example, when you're on top of the other player, you can jump around them, behind them, to the side of them, knock them off, and they don't have much to do. If they build up, they will, well, you can knock them down because they're looking down and building up. If they try and run away, you can jump and chase them. If they, well, try and knock you off, you can jump on them. So basically, they have many bad possibilities, but you have a lot of good options. Which, I guess this is the real philosophy of Bedwars. That makes it doesn't make much sense, but the idea to win is giving your opponents less possibilities while giving yourself more and better possibilities or options. Like I did there, I have my jump potion, I jumped on top of him, and he just had to wait down and look up, which didn't give him too many choices, which, as I can see, I built up and jumped on him, and I got a combo on him. If you're on a bridge, this is an extremely useful tactic, because you might think, oh, what if they also hit you back and knock you? Well, because you have the forward momentum jumping down on them, they, obviously, I guess a good way of visualizing this is saying they're on their back foot, and once you knock them, they will just get knocked down. Alright, aside from that amazing ending, I hope you enjoyed this guide, I hope you found it helpful, and I hope I covered everything that you guys wanted to hear about. I guess like stuff like high ping fights, sweats, bridge fights, first rushing, and I hope this really helps you win your games even more because that's what I try to do with these guides. Please let me know if there's any other questions you have and what other videos you'd like to see because I will definitely try and make them. And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this return to YouTube that this video is, and I hope to see you in my next video in another week, 2 weeks, month, I'm not sure. I'll try and upload quicker, but I'm honestly not too sure when it's going to be since I have a lot of big uploads planned. But I will see you then, and goodbye.